here with Mr. Cliff Booth and Blood Relatives. We are with the Blood Relatives fam, Noah and Victoria. Yay! Thank you guys. So this is kind of like, first of all, this is like a joy of a movie. I had such a good time with this, and that's not a fun movie. It's a joyful movie. Genuinely, it's kind of like Paper Moon, but make it vampires. So you have referenced Paper Moon. What are kind of like your influences and your dad? So what were kind of your influences with this?
I mean, Paper Moon very much sort of an text, if only because it's just a great movie. Blood Simple and Raising Arizona, which is a strange thing to say. It's like I could just name every Coen movie, but like Blood Simple is such like a great Texas movie and a great kind of like American Western movie, and then Raising Arizona about, which is about having a kid and kind of how do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile, dealing with that? So those were some big influences, and then Paris, Texas, as well. I keep going, but
you have like a scroll that you unfurl.
There's a scroll about my inspiration.
Was Raising Jane, was that ever in the running for a title? No.
Raising Jane was not. It should have been.
That's fun.
Damn, alright.
Yeah. I can't take any credit.
Maybe you guys should hit me up next time before. I'm just saying, like.
I can't take any credit for the title. That was my wife.
Really? I actually do.
I didn't know that.
Shout out to
and
you.
It was a shout out. Thank you to Allison.
Because I didn't know what it was about initially, and I'm like, Blood Relatives, what is that? And I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking clever. That's nice.
She's a comedy writer.
Is she? She's a clever girl. Right. You are wonderful at playing an angsty teenager. Is that fun for you? I was shocked to see, and I was like, wait, are you not an angsty teenager? You're a woman.
I'll just be playing a teenager for the rest of my life. I thoroughly enjoy the teen years. I think there's something really cool about going back to it, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, you see,
a little too much.
Amplified. Yeah, right?
Yeah, a little too much.
Were you an angsty teen?
I think that I didn't want to be. I was like, I'm not gonna be. I think inside I was, and not as much outward as Jane is about it, and so I think I got to kind of like live vicariously through her a little bit.
Yeah.
To kind of, as she just like put so much of her angst on her sleeve, and like, but in a really smart way. So yeah, I think I got to do that with her a little
She's
bit
like
more.
badass. She's kind of like the teenager I wish I was.
Exactly.
I was like a very shy kid, and I was like not like terrible, and I was like inner turmoil, but I wasn't like angsty like Jen. Well, she's cool. She was like punk rock shirts. She's just like a badass.
Yeah, and she's like hella smart,
Yeah.
and she is super witty and very quick. So yeah, I wish I could have been more like Jane, but it was on the inside for sure.
I'm glad that you weren't, because I met your mom yesterday and she's lovely, so I would hate to think of you being like so angsty to that like wonderful sweet woman.
She is an actual angel.
See, she exudes that. So I was like, oh, please
Yeah.
tell me you weren't mean to your mom as a
Oh
teenager.
no, mom was everything. She did put up with some stuff, but I couldn't. How can you to that place? She's just to that.
You like start and you're like, no, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, no.
I take it all back.
Yeah, she would never. She didn't barely even. I didn't ever get grounded or anything like that. So I think I did okay.
I was always grounded, but that's neither here nor there. How old are your kids now? They're not teenagers yet.
Not yet. They are 2.5 and 5.
Oh, you have a little bit of time. Okay.
a little bit of time, but they are both. Every parent says, my kid is very. They are both like. One of them is definitely going to be a white collar criminal. Like is going to is working on sophisticated fraud. Okay. That we'll respect. We'll sort of go yes. Oh, I'm sorry that hopefully it's defrauding corporations and very large. Hopefully it's like a Robin Hood type sitch.
Okay. Ideally.
That's kind of what we're trying to.
These are my hopes for my child.
My hope for one, and the other one is she's she'll be done with her screenplay any minute. So we're good.
I like you're like, I know every parent says, and then you launch into maybe a white collar criminal. I'm like, I get that idea the first time that I've heard that.
Yeah, welcome to Fantastic Fest.
I
Welcome
go
to
downstairs
fatherhood
and
and
pull everyone.
genre cinema.
I'm like, describe your child to me in one sentence. That's gonna be my thing for the rest of the festival to see if I get that.
Vampire.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh, nice. I got a little bit of Near Dark vibes. It's very slightly, obviously, a lighter version of that. Are you a fan of that?
yeah, I mean, who isn't?
Okay.
I mean, it would be
Get
very
the fuck
weird.
out.
It would be very weird if I was like, I made a vampire movie that has like cool cars and like leather jackets and like fuck Near Dark.
Yes, yeah.
No, I mean Near Dark is a masterpiece of a movie, and I think you know again, it's, you know, I've talked a lot about this. It's like, you know, the idea of sort of a certain self-awareness. I think that like Near Dark has, where it knows exactly what it is, and you know, in that great, you know, kind of coming from the Romero school of kind of like, you know, I have some things to say, but I'm going to sort of say it in the language of making a movie, and that's going to, and you're going to be aware of that, and you're here for the ride, and so that was a big one. I mean, I wish we had some of those gags. We got a couple of gags.
You got some gags in there. You could like punch a guy through a wall, which is fucking cool. Or a lady. I call her a guy, but you know.
That was. I mean, we did a whole like stunt sequence for that and stuff, and kind of planned that all out.
You
so.
launched through the doorway.
Yeah, I took a big leap. It was a flying frog leap, and it really did look like that a couple times, I feel like, but we eventually got there.
You got there, and I mean that punch.
Yeah, the punch was hard. The punch was, I wasn't expecting, like I said last night, I wasn't expecting to do the punch, so it was a really cool surprise to be able to, like, I don't know, I think that's a really cool introduction for Jane, to just see that.
It is
She's
very
just like,
cool.
I don't know that I have this strength. This is really awesome. It's like she's discovering it as you're discovering it too, so.
I can't believe it. I cannot fathom it any other way. Like, you know, because we talked about, like, you know, obviously, you know, you write and you know, what is it they say? Writing is rewriting. It's like, you know, you write and you rewrite and you know and you edit. And there was a version of the script where Francis throws the punch, where the dad vampire throws the punch, and I cannot fathom why I would have written that.
It's so completely changes the vibe.
It's a completely different. It's a completely different, you know, and it really is about saying this is her moment to show up.
Yeah,
I'm here now.
And then like the oh fuck, and kind of unleashes it, and she's like realizing her powers, and then also it kind of paints Francis as more of like he's not like a violent dude, you know what I mean? He doesn't like go into confrontations. He's a vampire, but he's a pretty peaceful vampire for the most part. So I feel like punching a lady in the face through the fucking wall sets up a different kind of feel.
It's a different guy. It's a different guy who's going to do that.
Guy, rather than the dad that's like, oh shit, yeah, daughter, you do have this ability. So it was like different feel. So I'm glad that we went with that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So are you saying you want to do more stunts? Is that like
I
is
love
on your wish
stuff.
list?
I love any type of physical stuff. I
Alright.
love. I usually am like, yeah, I'm down for it, and which is probably sometimes dangerous, but like, I don't know. I just, like I said, like it's things that you don't get to do in real life. So I feel like taking the opportunity to play pretend in that way is like super cool. So when you're like, get in a trunk and we're gonna like shut the trunk on you, and then you're gonna pop out and it's gonna be really quick, I'm like, yeah, cool, let's do it.
The trunk is not like that's just like my old car.
Yeah,
it's like
not a stunt truck.
It was like there was like bare metal and wires sticking out, and like definitely I don't know if they were using asbestos. They might. You should get checked out, is what I'm saying at this point, for
a year later.
Some kind of. Yeah, you know, there were oily rags. It was,
safety is paramount. Like,
absolutely, absolutely.
But you were up for it. You signed the release.
Yeah, I signed it all, and I said, I guess, and then things just came up. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I don't know. I think like your body is such a cool, like physical stuff like that is just such a it's a really cool way to express yourself. So.
I love though that like I can't get over the fact that you were like so excited for the trunk, because you mentioned that in the Q&A yesterday, and I was like, what, you're like really about like just put me in trunks, stuff me in all the trunks.
Yeah, maybe there's a kid now, who knows, like maybe I'm just gonna keep trying to be in trunks. I don't know.
I'm gonna like check my car when I get home and be like, Victoria,
yeah.
knock it off.
I mean, like, oh, it's either or you're just dead in a trunk. But that, I don't think that would be the case. But
in your version, you're popping out and scaring somebody. That's the idea. Okay.
Yeah, that's ultimate. And then getting puked on, and that was like the coolest. That was the coolest.
We forget we're constantly like we keep talking about you being in the trunk, but then in that exact same moment, we're like, all right, and it's a movie. You got to shoot more than one take. So we were flinging. What was it? It's always the question: is what is the soup? Is what is the what is the puke?
What is the puke? It was soup. It was cheese potato soup, cheese soup, and then like with milk. So it looked like a little, like a little bile-y. And
I remember vividly being like, do you want me to be the guy off camera to throw? Like, is it a trust thing where it's like, do you want? Should it be me, or would you rather someone else do it? Like, if it goes,
you threw the puke on.
I think I did. I think I felt responsible. I was like, this is,
it's gonna be me.
Yeah, if you're gonna fucking hate anybody after this, I guess hate me.
It's also like a bonding experience.
Exactly.
Also, I feel like you're saying like cheese, and I'm like, was it warm when you're shooting? I feel like that would have such a scent to it.
It has
like an intense scent.
It lingered.
It lingered. It was in the hair.
Oh god,
that was a really fun night. Yeah, it was really.
It was raining.
It was raining. The train was going by.
It was soup weather. It was
soup weather. You're like, you know what? This is the day. This is the day. How did you fling the soup? I'm just curious. Like, what was?
I think we did one take where there was soup on a spoon, and I did that, and it wasn't enough. And I think that the take that's in the movie
I forgot about that.
was taking like a cup of soup and just being like, just whipping it out.
Overhand or underhand? What's the difference?
I think it was like it was.
You were there.
I remember. I saw it coming at me.
Slow motion. Like
And such a professional, you stayed in character.
Yeah, and I was like, it was. Oh yeah, and it's just ingrained in my memory. It was just like a little styrofoam cup of cheese soup. See, but you can't. That's fun. Like, when is that going to happen to you? I mean, hopefully never.
Well, surprise as Phil throws cheese soup on all of us, like Nickelodeon style.
That's the style.
You say, I don't know, and the cheese soup falls from the sky.
Like
that's from an old show.
Is it really?
Called You Don't. What is it?
You can't do that on television.
Thank you. You should be too young to know about this. You can't do that on television, which was a Canadian.
I think it was Canadian show.
Kids sketch show.
Yeah, like SNL for kids with a lot of slime.
And what?
So it was like a slime version of sliming, kind of.
Yeah, well,
yes.
that was
the
original.
OG.
It may have been the OG slime, and
OG
it was
slime.
literally like you would have the show, and there'd be like sketches, kids doing sketches, and you'd be able to do it. And whenever somebody said, "I don't know," they would get slimed. But it was always like some sketch where, it'd be like a talk show and, hi, how you doing? And then you'd be mid-sketch and somebody would just be like, I don't know about it. And then the slime would come down.
No, I could never go on that show. I would.
You're just covered and you just we're like, actually out of slime, can we hold for more slime?
Oh, yeah, I would say that all the time. Now I'm afraid to say it.
Now we need to work that into our budget someday. Can we do that? Bring it back.
Thumbs up from the boss. He's going to find the slime budget.
We're gonna start out with just the cups of the cheese soup. Then a hand comes in.
Yeah, that'll be like the lower. It's the lower version of that. It's a mix between the two.
You can't do that on Fango Vision. Is what we do. Before we go, I do want to talk about you. This is your directorial debut, but you're also like directing yourself, and I feel like that's. I always just feel like that's a weird thing. Like, how do you, you have people helping you out, you're looking at monitors, but you're also like acting.
You have a partner you can trust.
Okay.
Every actor in the movie is a great actor and was able to help me be where I needed to be, so that because we didn't have time to do playback and I had an incredible stand-in, Joey Chance. Always shout out to Joey Chance. Who was my stand-in, and we'd set up a shop, but we had 18 days to shoot this movie.
Oh wow.
And so I was just depending a lot on the other actors and on Vic and on Josh. We had Josh who would be on the monitor, and Josh Rubin would, producer and a great director, and so he would, come in and say, maybe one more faster. maybe get that little bit again. And it was great because it was exactly that little extra,
Right.
30 seconds you needed to go, okay, now we've got, it was a little bit of peace of mind.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was being able to be opposite somebody who I felt like I could trust to say, let's keep going, or no, I think we got it. I mean, you were like, I would ask you all the time, you're like, did we get that? And you'd be like, I think we got it.
I don't know, and then slime.
Yeah, I don't know. It was my first time as an actor working with somebody opposite who was directing, so it was a learning experience for me too. And so I felt like it was really, really, really cool. I think the preparation aspect of it really helped because we could just check in and say, oh, this is like we're on the track that and then like also finding new stuff and then being like, yeah, that's cool. And so I don't know, I think it was also like a test in trusting my instincts as an actor too, because I was like, yeah, I think that I could sense like what really worked, but also I feel like by the end of it was pretty easy for us to understand what was working.
I think it was easy,
wasn't.
but I mean, you also come with a confidence and there was preparation. I'm sure that there was probably some mutual confidence that came from that, but you have an ability to, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that, but you have the thing that I mean, I've been acting for a while, like you have the thing that actors want to have, which is the ability to kind of fill in the space, right? And and sort of not leave. You don't check out. That requires a lot of concentration, and it requires a lot of confidence, and honestly, when you're in the position that I was in, I don't think that there would have been any other way to have had a movie, because if I didn't have, I told you this yesterday, I told you this when we watched the movie first time, like if you weren't always in it, I would have had nothing to cut to.
It wasn't hard to be in it, It's like it's a fun world. It was a fun world to be in. I was like game to be in it. I think that's really kind. Thank you. But it was really cool to just like, I don't know. It was my first time, obviously, like working with Noah, and I like want to do it all the time because it was just cool to see. I don't know. You were like, I don't recommend this. I don't recommend this for anybody. But I mean, it was so cool to see somebody just like know really what they really like, specifically what they wanted, and see it grow, and just like also watching you too. Now it's just like a big love fest.
I love that though. I'm like, yes, please, more of that. Compliment each other. I'm living for it. I'm like, oh, this is so great. I love it.
This is the energy we need in genre.
Yeah.
In genre
but you guys
film.
just have such a cool chemistry though, so it's also cool to see that like like this that I'm seeing here translated on screen very much, and that makes the movie work so well, because if that didn't, it would just feel hollow and it wouldn't work the same way that it does. So.
And we were, I think we were both very lucky, because I mean, it's a leap of faith, I mean, you took this enormously, coming out of the middle of nowhere in Central Texas, to join summer camp, which is kind of what every on location shoot feels like in some way or another. It feels like summer camp, and you're like, there are times when people have a really bad time at summer camp, and there are times that you don't want to leave, and you're like, I'm taking that risk, and you did, and thank you.
Yeah. Well,
you made the movie good.
I don't think that I think that it's like having them to, we needed to have that, because like you said, like it really kind of just like relied on the fact of, also what I thought was so cool is like individually Francis and Jane both had their own journey in the beginning, and the fact that they kind of, I think we found it as like actors, but then also as Francis and Jane, like just this allowing of being like, this is what this is, and hopefully that's something that people like can see and connect to, because I loved it. I mean, I love that.
I love it enough to be like, is there sequels, the continuing adventures of Francis and Jane?
What are they gonna do next?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I love the world. I love what we did. I'd love to, I keep on thinking that that there's like a world where, you know, Jane grows up to be like an Elizabeth Holmes, like Theranos.
Yes,
like, you know, like there's like she comes to visit and she's wearing her black turtleneck and she's like a billionaire and she's like, hello, this is my life now. She comes to go visit her like weird brother who like, you know, lives in the middle of nowhere with his assistant Roger.
Yes,
that's the
gotta
like.
bring Roger.
I want to see that movie. I really do.
You know, or the Jane Terry spinoff.
The Jane Terry spinoff. I love like Jane growing up to just be like an ultimate badass. I think she could do anything. Yeah, that's she would definitely take over some stuff and then
all the things.
yeah. And then Francis would, you know, we just see Francis like chilling in the pool, just,
Yeah,
like, hanging
yeah.
out. He's like, wow, this is great.
I mean, I definitely want to do like the, you know, tens of billions of dollar sequel where we just have huge set pieces and we can shoot it for 6 months and, you know, 7-hour days and all that stuff.
Okay, so let's go ahead and make that happen next for the sequel.
Excellent.
Then. Okay,
Yes.
we're on it. Great.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Agreed.
Taken care of. Right?
Excellent. Yeah, I think, you know, let's keep the world
Fuck yeah.
keep the world going.
Let's do it. All right, Blood Relatives, keep the world going. Check it out on Shudder. Yay.
I'm not mad. I'm
Disappointed?
impressed.